I have a new love in my life. He has the most amazing blue eyes, not very much hair, a few rolls of fat, but the most beautiful smile. When our eyes meet, the smile he gives me makes my heart sing and my toes curl. My 5-month-old grandson, I'm totally in love with. But of course, the interesting thing is, we haven't spoken a word. Language acquisition is a whole story that's going to play out for him over the next few months. In a few months' time, he'll be able to say a few words and we'll start that exciting communication game. The process of language acquisition began many months ago while he was still in the womb. He was soothed by his mother's voice, the words she uttered, the sounds, the sentences, the talking provided the soundtrack for his life. As he was born, her words comfort him and soothe him. And it is the language of which she gives to him now truly matters. In fact, the process of acquiring language is so complex, many anthropologists believe that that is the point of difference between humans and our primate ancestors. They believe that in the evolutionary process, humans developed complex language and were able to talk to each other in their groups, share ideas, share their knowledge and their learning. And that is what enabled us to advance as a society to the position that we're at now, a totally complex, integrated community across the globe. Language truly matters for creativity and problem solving. As you can imagine, those early cavemen, it was the talking with each other, it was the sharing ideas that enabled them to advance. The problem solving, one person has a problem, another person discusses it. They discuss and exchange ideas. The creativity that evolves when they're bouncing off ideas evolves into the technology that we have today. Language truly matters in our history and our culture. Language began as an oral form of communication, and then it began to be written down. The Egyptians, the hieroglyphics, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Bible, the Quran, Chaucer's tales, Shakespeare, and even Dickens. Throughout the history, there's been a rich language that has illustrated and captured our extensive past. We can dip into this past and see it and relive it and understand it through the rich language that there is. Our culture is completely intrinsically embedded in that language. This is no more evident than when you look at what has happened in Australia over the last 250, 300 years. An Aboriginal nation that was rich in culture and broad, many, many language groups. And in a very short period of time, when the language stripped from them, the culture disintegrated. It is only now that they're clawing back the fundamental threads of their language and rebuilding their culture around their tales of dreaming and their sense of place. Language also matters in relationships. And in fact, I would say that language is at the heart of all good relationships. When you meet somebody and say hello and tell them your name, it's the first point of contact. Later on, you'll discuss ideas, you might exchange histories, you'll certainly exchange views, maybe political views, maybe humour. All of those points of talking, interacting, is what develop the relationship. These relationships are central to our communities and who we are. And it is only through good language skills that we develop trusting relationships. The power of language in a relationship is huge. Those words, I love you, are pivotal. Just as the words are, I hate you, I don't trust you, you have betrayed me. Words that carry so much weight and are pivotal points throughout our life. Language truly matters in relationships. Now, many of you know that in my job, I'm a teacher of very young children. And something that we've observed in my profession over the last 20 to 25 years is the decline in language skills that children are bringing to the classroom. Many advances in technology and in education, but they're coming to the classroom with a deficit in our oral language. We're finding these children are unable to talk in a full sentence. They're unable to describe, they're unable to explain, they're unable to even retell what they did the day before. They simply don't have that complex language structure. The reasons are varied. Many say it's to do with screen time. Children have got their noses to a television or to a computer. Some say it's because parents are busy. In our busy, bustling lifestyle, it's put your shoes on, get in the back of the car, have you got your lunch? Some say it's to do with the children are smaller families. The children don't have as many people to interact with. There's no cousins, aunties, uncles, nieces, nephews, so their communication world has shrunk. Whatever the reason, we're still left with this issue that young children have poor language. So I urge you tonight to take time to talk. Look for talk opportunities with your children, be they grandchildren, nieces, nephews, your own children. But talk to them about everything. Discuss with them, argue with them, describe, laugh with them, tell them jokes, ask them to tell you, and truly listen. Because that's the only way that we're going to build up those important oral language skills that our little people will need. Now, as I look into the eyes of my beautiful grandson, I wonder what lies ahead in his life. He's facing 30, 40, 60, maybe 80 years of a future that I cannot even begin to imagine. Political unrest, climate change, and now a global pandemic, all issues that are going to be very real to him. How will he solve these problems? The only way I can think of is through good language. Language truly matters.